Hey, story fans, it's your old pal, the Writing Ref. I don't hate, I just officiate your favorite franchises. This time it's the Alien franchise. We'll be comparing and contrasting Alien Romulus and Alien Earth, the TV series, which is currently out now. Now, as a writer who's professionally represented with over 20 years of experience, I find Alien Earth to be a much more thematically compelling story than Alien Romulus. And we're going to go over how to make sure all of our stories that we write carry a deep sense of theme and not a shallow one right now.
Chicken jockey!
What do I sacrifice? Everything!
Hey, thanks for staying. Welcome back. Spoiler warning for episodes 1 through 4 of Alien Earth. And please do click that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. We have a lot of fun on this channel talking about the craft of writing and calling penalties. With that, game on. I think most people, when comparing Alien Earth and Alien Romulus, will see a large gap in the thematic discrepancies right away. Just the concept alone, where you're taking the minds of dying children and putting them into immortal android bodies, calls all the way back to the original science fiction themes by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The way we mess with science in order to achieve a certain immortality has deep philosophical implications. I don't think anyone will deny this, but the Alien franchise hasn't been exactly played with shallowness, except for 2 or 3 movies. Even in those movies, it's always asked great thematic questions about society. Where does capitalism end up in the far future? It asks questions about what it means to be locked into your role in life, whether you're a human or an alien. So it's digging into the true meaning of freedom. The Alien series has always also had themes of motherhood. While Alien Romulus does attempt many of these themes and is aware that the Alien franchise is supposed to have them, let's dig into why Alien Earth does it better. We'll use 3 examples of theme, and for each theme, we'll show how Alien Romulus covers the theme, and how Alien Earth covers the theme, and how Alien Earth uplifts that theme, while Alien Romulus, even though it's a pretty good, suspenseful movie, just kind of flatlines on the theme. Theme number 1, capitalism. Specifically, far future, giant, trillions of dollars capitalism. Romulus has one moment that stands out regarding this theme, and that's when Rain, the main character, goes to try to be done with her contract and leave the planet. And this basically bank teller or insurance agent or whoever you want says, nope, you can't do it, your contract just got extended.
I'm sorry, but you're not eligible for contract release yet. Due to a shortage of workers, you're being transferred to the mines.
Wait, what?
And it's kind of hard to tell whether the agent is extending her contract under her own power, or if the system just updated just then because it shows that she's done, and then it updates. So either way, this creates a decent why for Rain to go with her friends on this sort of maybe dangerous mission, even if there's not aliens, because you don't know. It's never explained how they're able to just leave the planet if they're on contract, but apparently they can. It's a pretty good motivation to want to get off this planet where the sun never reaches. But that's kind of as deep as it goes. Later in the movie, we do encounter an android, the same model as Ash, so they're using a little bit of nostalgia to revive the theme. And when I say Ash, I mean Ash from the first Alien movie, who is going to capture the perfect organism for the company no matter what, because it's company first no matter what. And that company first no matter what theme comes up again and again in Alien Romulus, and it drives the decisions of the android characters and creates problems for the plot, but it doesn't really ever get any deeper than that. I have so many plot action problems once the facehugger gets its first person. We're off to the races and trying to survive and get off this station. We don't really have any time to explore many of the themes at a much deeper level. And in this regard, Alien Earth as a TV show has a much greater advantage, because it has all kinds of time to breathe and let a slow burn happen to explore these themes. And so to make it more fair, I'm only going to cover the first 2 episodes of Alien Earth with these examples. I might mention a few things from episode 3 and 4, but they're more where the story goes rather than what we are shown in episodes 1 and 2. The dangers of capitalism is shown all over the first 2 episodes. We learn that there's not just one mega corporation, but 5, and that one of those corporations is called Prodigy, and it's run by basically a young immature trillionaire who calls himself Boy Cavalier and likes to compare himself to Peter Pan. And the show uses that theme both in universe and as part of the narrative for the audience to create some very poetic comparisons. Boy Cavalier seems on the surface like a typical eccentric billionaire of today, a person for whom money has no meaning, so they want to use the power given to them by their money to find some new challenges. I mean, this guy just wants to have a more meaningful conversation. And then he seems like the guy who's going to be calling all the shots. He's probably not the guy calling all the shots, because you have this shadowy figure in a business suit walking around behind him, kind of agreeing with most of the things he says, but steering the conversations. So I suspect that we're going to find out that this mystery man, he's kind of a mystery in episodes 1 and 2, and later we learn his name is Adam Ines, is the actual man calling the shots. So Romulus has this sort of obvious throwback villain to represent the evils of capitalism, but Alien Earth shows us that even the person at the tippy top of the hierarchy of the employee to employer relationship, even the person at the very top of that is probably being manipulated by someone more cunning and patient, especially if they have a certain amount of narcissism or immaturity, as often our billionaires of these days do. And it's done poetically through symbolism. This mysterious character is getting us to ask the question, what more is going on here? And that takes the audience deeper than just, oh, okay, I understand, evil company. But of course, Alien Earth can be on the nose sometimes, in glorious fashion. Like when you have these guys literally dressed like French aristocrats, about to meet their doom. And the phrase, eat the rich, finally gets taken literally. Theme number 2, immortality. The Alien franchise has played around with immortality theme pretty much in every movie, and it does it in a lot of weird ways. Notoriously, Alien Resurrection, often considered the worst of the franchise, attempted to ask the question, what if immortality could be achieved through cloning? The 2 Prometheus films did a slightly better job, but the quest for immortality does not go well for main villain Mr. Wayland. Alien Romulus barely asks this question, though. All of the main characters are orphans, and now Andy, the android, who is a stand-in for an autistic character, wrestles with his programming, but he's sadly never able to obtain his own agency. Well, he does move his hand out of the way so Rain can put him back to normal, I guess. And that's sort of a decision, but it isn't a very deep one, is it? As an android, Andy can live forever, but he spends his life for whatever Rain wants. In the end, he does become true family for Rain, but she's guiding him towards that the whole time. And that's nice, but it doesn't really address immortality and the consequences of seeking it. In fact, I'll call a penalty here. Penalty on Alien Romulus. A main character has no agency. The idea that you can go to sleep for years at a time and then wake up is supposed to be an easy, symbolic way to show that you can have a cycle of death and rebirth to get immortality. Or you could use it that way. Heck, sometimes your kids grow old and they would die without you if you use this cryotech. That almost reaches interstellar levels of trippy. Too bad we never got to meet Ripley's daughter in anything except a video game. Anyway, I digress. Alien Earth easily makes the immortality theme one I think even Asimov himself would be proud of. Asimov, as sort of the quintessential AI science fiction author, is referenced several times in this series, especially episode 4. But I think this show asks questions even he did not ask very often. What happens if you could put a human mind in an artificial body? Would it be the collection of neurons storing memories on that person? If you had to simulate emotions, would that person even have a soul? The show, Alien Earth, forces us to ask questions and think. Romulus sort of assumes you already know the answer to questions, and then distracts you with dangerous problems to solve. Just when I was starting to wonder if Andy would outlive Rain as they traveled across the cosmos, we had to deal with the weirdest theme of motherhood the franchise has ever attempted. So yes, motherhood is the third and final theme that I want to compare and contrast. Now, the theme of motherhood didn't really hit until James Cameron made Aliens. And I think even though Aliens is action heavy versus Alien being more about suspense, I think introducing the motherhood theme in Aliens was a real stroke of genius. You have a queen protecting babies based on monstrous forced motherhood. You have Ripley's limited immortality sort of making her miss being a mother altogether in the cryo chambers, which is really sad. And you have Newt, the adopted daughter. Now, of course, the computer that controls the Wayland ships is called Mother, and they continue that forward in the Romulus movie, but it's more of a way to make sure that the lore is concise. In Alien Resurrection, Ripley, she's like part alien, and the alien is part human, so you end up with this monstrosity. In Alien Romulus, they were like, okay, hear me out. Let's try that weird shit again, except this time the human is going to give birth to the alien. And well, then this monstrosity happens. I mean, I guess that meets the theme of sexual assault that is often prevalent through Alien, and it kind of looks vaguely like an engineer because of, I think, the black goo is involved, but they wanted it to be a boss fight more than anything else. If you already know how Alien Earth is going to cover the motherhood theme well, and you can type it in the comments, you'll get a patented writing ref first down symbol. Good on you. In Alien Earth, the main character has an actual mother figure, this lady. If you missed her name, don't worry, so did I. Her name is Dame Sylvia, and she's married to this other guy, and they kind of act like scientist parents. Whereas the dude doctor kind of keeps thinking of kids scientifically, Dame Sylvia gives out toys to each child and really treats them like adopted kids, and she tries to protect them from the company. And again, this leads into a deeper emotional stakes for the character and all the children. And so let me repeat that with a foot stomp. The theme of motherhood can't just be an ugly monster born of sexual assault. It needs to be contrasted with a motherhood theme of real love. So, in summary, Alien Romulus is a really good story. It has a main character with a clear goal, lots of tension in her way, some relationships that seem to matter, some themes to overcome, even though they're kind of shallow, and in the end, she has a goal and she achieves it. It's the same goal the whole movie. So, in the end, that was a pretty good movie. But Alien Earth takes things deeper and does so in 3 ways. Builds mystery and intrigue. Who's the shadowy figure that might really be behind the eccentric trillionaire? You need to give your audience time to ask the deeper philosophical questions, like would a hybrid AI have a soul? And by episode 4, you'll see them asking this same question. Did we really do what we thought we did? And finally, you need to have emotional stakes for your themes. It needs to be an emotional relationship like Ripley and Newt, or like this mother figure to the children. As always, if you like this video, please click the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. Tell me about your favorite alien theme or science fiction theme in general. I'll see you next time. I'm the Writing Ref, and that's been The Call.